Here is one fact about every Sinnoh Pokémon, excluding regional variants and alternate forms. They'll have their own video. Turtwig's the only first form starter with a stat raising move when received, and is the only grass starter to learn a water move by level up, Withdraw. Grotle is the heaviest second form starter at 213.8 pounds, or 97 kilograms. Paul's Torterra's only move with more than 5 PP was Crunch. Chimchar has a 1.56% chance to soft block you in Diamond and Pearl. If a Starly with the right stats knocks out Chimchar, it'll confuse the game. Elaborate in this short, link in the description. Monferno was designed by Takao Uno, who also designed Lyra. There's a continuity error involving Flint's Infernape in the anime, being a Chimchar with Adult Flint in DP 165, and Monferno with Kid Flint later. Dawn's Piplup was an event Pokemon for BDSP and Legends Arceus in Korea. You had to spend 35,000 won, just 25 USD, in the online Pokemon Center. This would get you a code for Piplup and a ticket to a Movie 11 screening. Prinplup's Japanese name is Potaishi, from Pocha Pocha and Kotaishi, the sound of a pebble splashing in water, and Japanese for Crown Prince. Platinum's Empoleon in the manga ties Red's Pika for the most moves, 12, 13 if you count Pound, which they had but never used. Ash's Starly is the only Pokemon he caught without Pikachu with him, since the two were separated after Team Rocket shenanigans. In the Polish dub of the anime, Ash's Staravia is referred to as a female, but they were referred to as male as a Starly and later again as a Staraptor. Staraptor is Ash's only Pokemon to share his voice actor, Sarah Natashini. Bidoof was very likely the one who caused the events of Explorers of Sky, seeing as how he wished for a buddy in Bidoof's wish, which inadvertently led to the player and their partner joining the guild. Again, elaborate in a short, also in the description. Bibarel is still the only normal water type to exist. Kricketot has the lowest evolution level of a 2 evolution Pokemon at 10. Kricketune has the lowest base stat total of a fully evolved Mon at 384, but only counting Pokemon who use the stat formula, excluding Shedinja. There's an April Fool's official fake Mon in 2005 who's very similar to Shinx. Luxio is the only Pokemon with a base stat total of 363. Volkner's Luxray knows Play Rough, which they can't have in BDSP. Badoo's English name is different from their Japanese name, the only one of their evolution line where this is the case. And for reference, Badoo's Japanese name is Subomie. In Battle Revolution, Trainer Rosie has a Roserade costume. Cranidos and Rampardos are the only mono rock type fossil Pokemon. Rampardos has the highest attack stat of all rock types with 165 attack. Diamond Shieldon took 60 chapters to evolve after joining the team, taking the longest to evolve of all Sinnoh Pokédex holder Pokemon. Byron's Bastiodon is the only appearance of their species in the anime. Burmy wasn't able to earn the hidden power TM until X and Y, and so the NPC who checks HP types would say Burmy can't learn it, despite the fact that Burmy literally learns hidden power at level 20. Wormadam is one of 6 Pokemon in all 5 Hisui Dex sublistings, the other 5 being Burmy, Mothim, Geodude, Graveler, and Golem. Mothim technically also has Plant, Trash, and Sandy Cloak forms, but it's only shown in internal data based on where Burmy evolved. Combee is the only gender-based evolution Mon with gender differences. Vespiquen tied Porygon for the most signature moves in Gen 4, having 3 in total with Attack Order, Defend Order, and Heal Order. Dawn's Pachirisu is the only main character Pokemon who was introduced, caught, released, and rejoined the team all in the same episode. Ash's Weasel is the first Mon to defeat their evolution without a rematch. Floatzel's English name is the same in Spanish, Italian, and Japanese, with the caveat that their Japanese name is just Floatzel. Cherubi's Japanese name, Cherinbo, is from Cherry and Sakuranbo, Japanese for cherry. A Legends Arceus glitch made Sunshine Cherrim uncatchable before version 1.0.2. In Diamond and Pearl, not a single trainer uses EC Shellos. Shellos and Gastrodon were released early in Pokemon Go on April 29th, 2019. They were quickly removed and released on May 17th with other Gen 4 Mon. Dawn's Ambipom Platinum is her only Pokemon to share her voice actress, Emily Bauer-Jenis, who also voices Cynthia. Drifloon's line are the only non-Gen 3 mon in the fluctuating EXP group. Fantina's Drifblim is the only Pokemon to use Ominous Wind in the anime. All the moves that Dawn's Baneri knows can cause a status effect. Lopunny is the most wholesome Pokemon to ever exist. This is a 100% true fact, and I'll elaborate more after the credits. Bonus, Age Trainer Brenda in Platinum almost has a Team Charm team, just with Kirlia instead of Gardevoir. Miss Magius was named by Nob Ogasawara, game translator up to Platinum. 2 of Ash's Pokemon evolved while battling Paul's Honchkrow, Turtwig in aiding the enemy, and Staravia in pursuing a lofty goal. The ears of Glameow's 3D model were repositioned between Gen 6 and 7, being the only Pokemon to not get a new form when their model changed. Per ugly in Japanese, Bunyato is Debu, Busaiku, Busu, and Ya. Japanese for fat, ugly, ugly person, and the onomatopoeia of a cat meowing. Chingling is the lightest baby Pokemon at 1.3 pounds, or 0.6 kilograms. Stunky shares their Japanese name, Skunpu, with a Bomberman enemy. Skuntank is the first antagonist group leader who cannot be fought. Since Pokemon and Explorers of Sky would have both of their abilities, Bronzor and Bronzong had no weaknesses in those games. Bronzong ties Drifblim for being the most common Elite Four Pokemon. Bonsly ties Shuckle, Feebas, and Alolan Sandshrew for the lowest special attack at 10. Mime Jr. has the longest gap between appearances of a Team Rocketmon. 588 episodes between coming full Festival Circle and Rocket Revengers. Happiny is the only Pokemon designed by Emi Yoshida, Gen 4 graphic designer and an illustrator for the TCG. Maddie Blostein voices Chatot in the Explorers of Time and Darkness special, but then he's voiced by Mark Thompson in the Explorers of Sky special. And finally enough, they've both voiced James's dad at different points. Nob Ogasawara initially wanted Spiritom's English name to be Phantom, but the name was rejected by Nintendo of America. Ash's Gibble is his only Sinnomon to never battle a gym leader or Pole. In Gen 5, an English Gabite couldn't be traded on the GTS without a nickname. Cynthia's Garchomp ties Red's Pikachu for the highest level Trainermon. Munchlax has the highest base stat total of a baby Pokemon at 390. Ash's Riolu marks his first in a couple different categories. His first baby Pokemon, his first Sinnomon since Gibble, and his first mono fighting type since Primeape 1083 episodes earlier. Lucario's Smash Bros voice actor since Smash 4 is Sean Schemmel, who also voices Cyrus, Dracovish, and this other character, some guy called Goku from Dragon Ball. Never heard of him. In Explorers, Hippopotas has the same recruitment rate as Hippowdon. Hippowdon's Japanese name, Cabaldon, comes from Kaba and Don, Japanese for hippopotamus and Spanish for lord. Skorupi is the only bug poison type where poison is the primary type. Skorupi and Drapion are the only Gen 4 Pokemon in the Water 3 egg group. Krogan is Brock's first Pokemon to have their gender and ability confirmed, with his Krogan being a male with the Anticipation ability. Toxicroak is consistently made to look like they're shiny in official art, like their anime art, home model, global link art, and Legends Arceus model. James's Carnivine is the only appearance of their species in the anime, debuting in 2 degrees of separation. In Gen 6 and 7, Finneon learned the Nature Power TM while Luminion didn't. Luminion's Japanese name, Neolant, comes from neon and lantern. It may also be from the Neon Tetra, a fish Luminion may be based on. Go's Mantike is his only Gen 4 Pokemon and his only baby Pokemon. Snover is the only Pokemon with the Grass-Ice type combination. Abomasnow is the first Pokemon alphabetically. Silver's Weavile in the manga is his highest level Pokemon at level 84. Since there's no magnetic field in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, it is impossible to evolve Magnezone or Probopass without trading. Kit the Licky Licky is the only Mon Diamond actually caught in the manga, with the rest of his team being Pokemon he was gifted. Rhyperior is the only rock ground type where ground is the primary type. Before Platinum, the only way to get Tangrowth in Gen 4 was with PAL Park. So in Diamond and Pearl, you had to transfer a Tangela from a Gen 3 game. And Tangrowth was the only Gen 4 Mon who was only obtainable this way. Electivire is the only Gen 4 Mon who debuted in only the anime before DP. Appearing in Ruby and Sapphire's Home is Where the Start Is. With other Gen 4 Mon who debuted before DP appearing Variant movies first. Paul's Magmortar is his only Pokemon to never KO one of Ash's Pokemon. On top of that, they've also never been KO'd by one of Ash's Pokemon. Gold's Togekiss is the only Pokedex holder Pokemon to hatch from an egg. Jesse's Yanmega has the highest base stat total of any Team Rocketmon, not counting any temporary Pokemon they've had. Leafeon was designed by Atsuko Nishida, who also designed the Kanto starters, and famously, Pikachu. Glaceon's development name was Icea, found in Diamond and Pearl's beta and Battle Revolution data files. Gliscor is Ash's only Pokemon who evolved with an item. Not only is the Mamoswine line the only Ice Ground type Pokemon, but this is also the only type combination weak to all three starter types. Porygon Z is the only Pokemon whose Japanese name has a foreign letter, with their Japanese name having an English Z like the English name. Gallade's Almia browser number is the same as the Platinum Dex, 160. Probopass is the only non-electric type who evolves with a Thunderstone. In the Explorers of Sky anime special, Dusknoir uses Rapid Spin, a move they've never been able to learn. Froslass's Soul Silver Dex entry has a typo not seen in her Heart Gold entry, with her Soul Silver Dex entry missing a period at the end of the sentence. Bonus fact: Froslass can canonically breed with humans. No, seriously, there's a Legends Arceus side quest based on the Yuki Onna, and if you know that story, you know there's some bebe making. And the guy who gives you the quest says it's about his ancestors. Diamond's Rotom took the longest to catch of any Pokedex holdermon, only being caught 96 chapters after their debut. Uxie and the Lake Trio couldn't use the move reminder before Gen 9's version 2.0.1. Mesprit shares the emotion category with Kirlia and Indeedee. Azelf and the Lake Trio have the highest friendship of legendaries at 140. Dialga has the highest number of roles for a legendary in different movies, having a major or minor role in movies 10, 11, 12, and 18. Palkia shares one of their roars from the anime with Mecha King Ghidorah. Heatran's the only legend with no other form, evolution, or related mon. Regigigas's Heart Gold Soul Silver sprite is the widest of all Pokemon. Giratina is the only legendary who's obtainable in all Gen 4 games. Cresselia was incorrectly called an ice type in Pokemon for Coma, a 4-panel Pokemon manga that's mainly gag focused. In Pokemon Ranch, Haley can offer to trade you a Fione for her Leafeon. All you had to do was deposit 250 Pokemon into the ranch. Manaphy in Movie 9 is the only mon to hatch from an egg in the movies. Bonus, a Pokemon Ranger's Manaphy is notoriously the hardest shiny hunt. In Explorers, Darkrai is the only non-ghost type who can go through walls, even without the all-terrain hiker IQ ability. Before version 1.1.3, a BDSP glitch let you meet Shaman without Oak's letter. This was also the only way to shiny hunt Shaman without an event. It's always the fun glitches they patch out. Finally, according to Tom Wayland, the anime's previous voice director, Arceus is pronounced with a hard C so their name doesn't have arse, which is, of course, British slang for butt. And there you have it, folks. One fact about every Sinnoh Pokemon. How many of these did you know already? Which of these facts was your favorite? Do you have a 400 IQ and believe in the wholesomeness of Lopunny? Let me know in the comments below. And become a member if you're interested. It's only $2 a month. Have a nice day, you wonderful people. Lopunny is the most wholesome Pokemon, and I can prove it. People always seem to forget that Lopunny is the friendship evolution, starting from Baniri, the only non-legendary with base 0 friendship. This is based on real rabbit behavior, showing you need to earn their trust. But back to Lopunny, wild Lopunny have a base friendship of 140, and with their constant monitoring, it shows their devotion to their friends, breeding danger with powerful kicks. kicks, even though they dislike fighting. Now, I know what you might be thinking though, but isn't Lopunny based on a Playboy bunny? Well, yes. But the Playboy bunny design has largely lost its tie to Playboy in Japan. Finally, official media consistently portrays Lopunny as a good friend. From Pokepark's Lopunny being a positive role model to her little sister, to Team Charm's Lopunny always looking out for those in need. Subscribe and join the Lopunny Appreciation Super Squad today. Together, we can put an end to all the Lopunny slander.